Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to a very special Eon short. Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
You got this, Kelly.
Welcome to another episode of Strange Eons Radio, a short Eons episode. That's Eric Morgert, way over there.
Hello.
That's Vanessa Williams, way over there.
Top of the day to you.
I'm Kelly Young. Boy, this one is going to be hard to get through. The whole point of these episodes is to give you guys something during the week to listen to and maybe get an idea of something else you could be watching, because everyone's stuck in their home. I'm wondering, once we get let back out, are we even going to bother doing these kind of episodes anymore? The short Eons.
We'll have
Maybe
to see.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
It seems like, I mean, right now everybody wants more content, but it seems like a way to get people really tired of you really quickly.
Yeah. I think right now nobody has anything to do. So it's like, oh, 3 days a week we get to look at these weirdos talk about films. That's great. And then when they have a busy life, they'll be like, oh, why do they keep putting this stuff out?
Right.
Jesus.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah. Please don't unsubscribe.
All right, guys, we got to take a tiny little break. We will come right back, and we will be giving you our quick picks for stuff you can watch.
Nine Lives presents Morris.
The castle's almost finished, Your Majesty.
Good. Reserve the dungeon for yourself.
Here's the enchanted tower.
This is her second childhood today.
Hungry, Morris?
Lower the drawbridge. I'm leaving.
Don't be finicky. There's 9 lives.
Hark, the sea winds bring a message.
Liver and chicken, savory stew.
9 Lives savory stew.
Nine Lives, nutritious foods cats really like, even Morris.
Only fit for a king, 9 Lives.
And we're back. Hey, you guys, my pick this week is kind of groovy. I think it's being overlooked probably by even the two of you.
Ooh.
And that is Kingdom on Netflix.
어떻게 사람을 먹어!
The Korean zombie period piece.
I have had that recommended to me literally this week, and I thought it was just some dumb, like medieval, like show, and which I'm not usually a fan of. So I completely ignored it because I was like, sounds like a period piece. Don't care.
It is a period piece, but it is in the middle of a zombie outbreak. And it is really fucking cool because there's 2 seasons. It's got a Rotten Tomato of 93% by the critics and 97% by the audience. So don't just take my word for it. The people who are watching this love it. And it's Dawn of the Dead with fast zombies, except it's set in 17th century Korea. It's got a ton of political stuff going on. So while this is happening, there's all of this political intrigue because they're trying to figure out what's going on with the king, and they've got a queen who's pregnant, but we're not sure that she actually is pregnant, and we're not sure that she's even human. So so there's some really cool stuff going on in it. I just finished the 2nd season, and I think it might be just 2 seasons and done because this wrapped up pretty tightly, but there was a 12-second thing at the end where you saw something and you were like, oh shit, I guess they could go another season if they wanted to. It's really cool. Do not watch the dubbed version, watch the subtitled version. It's well worth it because the acting is really, really solid.
Awesome. Oh my gosh.
Crown meets zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Or Just Game of Thrones beats zombies and Asia.
Well, it's interesting because it's, it's this zombie outbreak and everything. And so people are acting the way that they do in all the zombie films we've seen, except that the only weapons they have now are swords and bows and arrows and stuff like that. So
I was gonna ask, does it feel like a samurai like film? Does it feel almost like a kung fu movie in some ways?
Well, I mean, that's the culture, is not exactly Japanese, but it feels like a feudal Japan culture. But that's not, I don't want to say that it feels that way. It feels more like a period piece that just happens to have zombies going crazy. And the zombies are scary. These zombies are fucking creepier than shit. All right, next.
All right. Should I go or do you want to go, Eric? Okay. So I found a really random show. I think Amazon just like popped up a recommendation for me. I've never heard of it. It's called In the Flesh.
I was living in a devil town. Didn't know it was a devil town.
What are you?
He's a bit different looking, but he's still the same.
Oh Lord, it really brings me down about the devil town.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
We're living in a world where real monsters exist.
They are not your neighbors, not your friends. They are imposters, changelings of the highest order.
I don't feel ready. That's why they say I am ready. Because I'm feeling.
For the undead, life begins again. In the Flesh, on BBC Three.
I am a partially deceased syndrome sufferer. What I did in my untreated state was not my fault.
In England, the dead aren't just rising from the grave. They're returning home.
They're killers! Bloody dead killers!
Last time I saw your wife, she was in a casket.
In the Flesh.
Cross my heart and hope to die.
It's actually only got 2 seasons, came out in 2013. It's British as hell. And it's yet another, much like Zomboats. Hold on. Stand by.
Okay.
Shit's going down somewhere. Oof, okay. So it's very British, and it's got a little bit of that kind of Zomboat feel to it, I guess. I still haven't seen that yet, and I'm really excited about that. It's the basic premise is 4 years after the Rising, which is giant zombie outbreak, the government releases rehabilitated undead back into society. Follow Kieran Walker, a teenager from a small town in Lancashire, the hometown of a large resistance group, like anti-zombie resistance group. It's really pretty neat. Like, I like the setup of it. The first season's only 3 episodes, and the second season I think is 6. So I'm just about to start the second season. It's got a lot of very British moments in it. Like, he's returned home and the parents are like, no, everyone's excited that you're back. And then like people are going past with like guns and like fuck all zombies shirts. And then they're like, and he's like, wait a minute. And they're like, would you like a cup of tea? And he's like, my internal organs will not accept that. And they're like, could you just pretend? And so he like keeps drinking tea and then just tossing it out the window, and he'll sit down to dinner and just like pretend he's eating. So you basically just have a society where a bunch of zombies are called PDSs, partially deceased survivors, I believe. Yeah, and they have to get daily shots. Whatever parts of them have rotted are still rotted. They're still dead, but they are a little bit more human than they were before, unless they miss their shot, in which case they go back to being a zombie.
Movie Fido, I think it was called.
I never ended up seeing Fido.
Zombie.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's almost like halfway between that and oh man, what's the Scandinavian one where they all come back from the dead in the night, but they're not zombies. I'll remember at some point, but anyway, yeah.
You said the first season was 3 episodes. Are these like those British hour and a half long episodes?
It's at least an hour for sure. So, so there's definitely like a good amount of content. Like it's not a huge commitment. I think like the first season was fun enough. It covered some really interesting stuff, like the guilt he has over the people he ate. Jesus, what is happening? Somebody like broke quarantine. Watch out. Yeah, it's a pretty easy watch. Only 3 episodes, and yeah, I don't know what happens at the end of season 2, if there's like any kind of weird cliffhangers or if it goes in a different direction. But I like season 1 because it deals with things like his memories of his final memories of the last person he ate. And he has like huge amounts of guilt over it. And he keeps having flashbacks to this like supermarket scene where the whole show kind of starts off with, where is, you know, you get this girl who's, you know, grabbing cans and talking to somebody on a walkie and like, you want what? No, they don't have that. Like, what are you talking about? You want like fucking chocolate and caramel. I got you chocolates, I got you caramel. You can smish them together if you want the experience of chocolate caramels. And then all of a sudden there's things, you know, in the grocery store coming out. And one of those 2 zombies that attacks her is our main character.
Oh.
So, yeah. So it's neat. It's neat. It doesn't have anyone really known behind it. Although I will say the producer, Dominic Mitchell, was a producer for Westworld as well. But that's kind of pretty much all he's done. None of the actors looked familiar to me. Just didn't see a lot. It just was a weird hidden gem. I have no idea why I don't know why Amazon recommended this to me, but it was a nice little moment of like, oh, I'll put this on while I'm continuing to edit in the background. I was like, oh, actually, this is really good. So that's
cool.
All righty. Well, if you listen to the last ones, I did a underrated film by one of our horror masters, and I've got another one this week. Dario Argento's 1987 opera.
You are invited to enjoy an evening of terror.
Was it? Was there?
At the opera.
If you try to close your eyes, you'll tear them apart. So you'll just have to watch everything.
She is the captive audience. They are the unrehearsed players. Evil is the true star. And no matter how hard you try, you won't be able to close your eyes. Director Dario Argento brings fear,
Don't leave me alone. I'm afraid.
passion, obsession,
I can take you whenever and wherever I want.
and murder to a perfect pitch. Terror at the opera. The final note is a real killer.
This is on Tubi and available probably a variety of other places, but that's the easiest. Rotten Tomatoes rating is 90 from critics and 79 from the audience.
Wow.
It's pretty highly regarded. This probably stands in my head a little bigger because I believe it's the first Argento film I saw.
really.
I've never seen this one.
Yeah, it's one of the few I haven't seen either.
It seems severely overlooked. It's stars Christine. It's Italian.
Here we go.
Actually, no, she's Spanish. Marcelish. Mainly Spanish TV and Italian TV. But Ian Charleson, who you know, even if you don't know, you know. Chariots of Fire, if you've ever seen that or advertisement, he's the guy that's lifted up on the shoulders. And he's also in Gandhi, and he was Jefferson Brown in Greystoke.
Oh, okay.
I know, Kelly, you know that one.
Yes.
And Daria Nicolodi, who's in damn near every Argento film, is also a co-writer or a a writer of some kind on several of his films, including Suspiria, Deep Red, and Phenomena.
Cool.
And I think those 3 films in particular are the ones you seem to hear the most about with Argento. I mean, for obvious reasons. But I think this one deserves to be right in that area. It's got all his tropes. It's got the killer with the black glove. It's got a violent scene that I've never been able to shake, where a guy gets stabbed here and you see the knife go up through his mouth.
Whoa.
And I've seen that since in a few other films, but it's done so well here. It's just like, God, it's horrifying. The storyline is a young opera singer gets her big chance when the previous star of a production of Macbeth, never do Macbeth, is run over by a car. Convinced the opera is bad luck, she accepts.
Wait, what?
Sure, and becomes the target of the psychopath who's a man she's been dreaming of since childhood. So it's strange and twisted, like Argento always is.
I feel like an idiot. I guess I always thought that this was his telling of Phantom of the Opera.
No, no, it's just in an opera. It's got the great shots. It's got the incredible music. It's got all the stuff you expect from an Argento film is here. If you are an Italian film lover and you've just kind of missed it, or if you like Argento, go check it out, especially on Tubi. It's free right now.
Well, all right. There you guys go. 3 very different choices to go through. I'm looking forward to checking out Opera and the zombie thing. I'm a little burned out on zombies, even though I did enjoy Zomboat. I didn't realize when you started it that it was a comedy. So I'm a little bit on board with this now.
Yeah.
So. It's kind of a mix between comedy and drama. It's definitely got some drama elements. It's hard to be a teenager. What can I say?
Well, all right, guys. Thanks a lot. We will see you in just a couple of days with a regular episode.
Yeah.
Bye. Our podcast is recorded at Eric's house, and Vanessa's house, and Kelly's house, and is engineered and edited by Eric Morgret. Our theme music is Strange Aeons Part 1 by the band Nightshade and is used with permission. Find Strange Aeons Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and wherever fine podcasts are found.